Hey there, Adam. Good morning. It is Jay Obertans here at Rorick Mazda. So I wanted to thank you again for your time and consideration in checking out the CX30. So one thing I thought that might be the most helpful is to make you a video here, and that way we could really go over the trim level I think might suit what you're looking for the best, and at least be able to touch on a few options that might work as well. So the Select package, and actually this is a great example, this is going to be their base trim level, and on the exterior, not a lot of differences. In fact, the only real major difference is you'll see you have the 16-inch wheels that are standard on the base, and if we move up to the Select, you're going to have 18-inch. Other than that, things like safety systems relatively stay the same. The important one is obviously the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which ironically are only available on Select. So we would have to go up to that trim level because that did fall under your must-haves. Now from there, you can actually go into the preferred trim level, which would be like that gray one over there, and no difference on the exterior. Ironically, the differences lays largely in the seating. Both vehicles have standard leather, ironically. However, the preferred equipment group package is going to offer you seat heaters. I know that was kind of on your wish list, alongside a power seat as opposed to the bars and levers. And then also memory seats, so that way you and your wife can just hit a button to recall your seating position, in a Bose stereo system. Ironically, the difference in monthly payment is nearly $40 a month to go from Select into Preferred when you're only picking up the stereo and some adjustments to seating. So that I wanted to present because you can kind of ask yourself, is $40 a month really worth sort of the one feature which were the seat warmers? But we're going to sort of focus and kind of touch on the Select here. Mazda is significantly big on safety, so I always point out that this big old front emblem is not real. And up behind the rearview mirror, you'll see one of the camera systems there. So those all work together as you're driving down the road. If it ever senses that you're about to hit a pedestrian or cyclist, or maybe someone that stopped all of a sudden, it will warn you and then slam on the brakes. Subaru does a great job sort of visualizing that in a lot of commercials where it like goes in slow motion and then the car slams on the brakes. So same thing, your headlights are full LED. So those very piercing bright blue lights you see in like a lot of Lexus, Audi, BMW products, they can read light coming at the front and be able to use the high and low beams automatically. Should you be drifting out of your lane, it will not only alert you, but it will gently sort of pull you back into your lane. And then your cruise control is full radar with what Mazda calls a stop and go. This vehicle does have the ability to drive itself in a traffic jam, as crazy as that sounds. And then you will have the blind spot monitoring. Those will be these two little indicators that will light up in each side mirror to let you know if someone's on the left or right side of the car. And the great news is, if you're part of the 2% of Pittsburgh that actually uses their turn signal, it will let off a warning to kind of grab your attention that, hey, you can't go ahead and get into that lane. Now, if we go to the rear here, it's a little bit difficult because I have some piping and stuff I have to step over. You'll see the spoiler there. You have full LED taillights. You have dual exhaust down under there for the 2.5-liter Skyactiv. A great thing with this vehicle is all-wheel drive. And if you have yet to read on Mazda's all-wheel drive system, it is something that I suggest you do. Coming from Subaru, this might be something you'd appreciate, is Subaru has a great all-wheel drive system. They have what they call symmetrical all-wheel drive. In fact, they built their entire brand on the all-wheel drive, but many don't know Mazda designed that all-wheel drive system in the late 80s and sold the rights to Subaru. So Mazda's system is very similarly set up. However, it's extremely intelligent, and that's why it's won many awards. It's unlike traditional all-wheel drive systems, which basically just have slip sensors. Mazda's has 23 sensors to calculate things from temperature to wheel position to weight distribution to steering pressure to brake pressure to the position on the gas to if your windshield wipers are running to the defrosters if they're going, outside temperature, if the sensors for the braking mechanisms are wet, indicating that there's something on the road. Many different things. It is pretty cool. Plus, you have a lock button. So if you really get into a tricky situation, whether you're going like up a trail or just stuck in a significant amount of snow, you can actually lock the system much like a pickup truck. So going to the interior here, last thing that I may or may not have mentioned with the CX30 is Mazda is really pushing themselves upscale. In fact, this vehicle is a gentle partnership with Lexus. I say gentle because the big partnership with Lexus came out on the Mazda 3s that you will see across there, and the CX30 is simply based off the Mazda 3. So you're going to see a very sort of upscale design. You have a very large 8.8-inch screen up on the dash. It is all focused or done via that via the sort of control knob behind the gear shifter, very BMW style. And if you're wondering, wow, the seat looks black and that armrest looks blue, you're right. So Select and Preferred has what Mazda considers a lapis interior scheme. So if I take my cell phone light here and I shine it up, you're going to see that all of the accents in the vehicle are done in a blue. Even the top portion of your dash is done in a blue, just kind of a nice accent there. Now the screen, of course, you'll have things like backup camera, obviously the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, other things. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn on the electronics. Unfortunately, this vehicle just got off the truck, so I believe it is probably not full of gas. So let me use my little handy dandy GE toolbox here and get the key down for us. It's like live action video. I know I stink on camera. My mom always told me I had a face for radio. So all right, let's grab this here. You'll see the key. Buttons along the side. Now it is advanced keyless, so I'm actually going to go ahead and lock it. And you'll see no key in this hand, but when I grab the door handle, it unlocks. Likewise, you can just wave your hand across the door handle when you leave the car to lock it back up. So let me just go ahead and get the accessories on here. So you'll see you'll have things like dual climate system, so you can set a temperature on each side. You do have an upgraded stereo system. Mazda's bass speakers are Pioneer. It would be the preferred trim, as I mentioned in the beginning, that you'd step up to the Bose stereo. But of course, if I shift into reverse, you'll have things like your backup camera I had mentioned. You'll see a communication, kind of going through entertainment for all of your radio settings, and under settings, you can really set up not only the speakers, but the big one is going to be those safety displays. In fact, even a unique feature for the CX30 only is there's a small little camera mounted in this gauge cluster right here in front of me, because you might notice that that is not a real speedometer. It is simply a projection screen in the middle. It's looking at the driver, and if it senses that you're slouching or falling asleep, it's going to kind of set off a warning. It'll adjust your interior lighting and set all of your safety systems to a high sensitivity level, so that way you're really, I guess, ready if something did happen. Now, I will go ahead and just quickly upload this video. This is just sort of a taste of the Select here, and that way it might be the most beneficial to you and your wife, just to sort of get a better close-up. But I really do appreciate the opportunity, and likewise, I look forward to hearing back on any other details I can help. Thank you guys so much.